Hey there, this is Hutch Marone, your command coach. Today we are going to be talking about bringing your contacts into command. This is part of the launch learning, which means that we are going to cover some of the more basic steps. We're going to go over creating a contact manually, and we're going to talk about importing contacts. We are going to shy away from API connections like PySync, where you bring a whole bunch of contacts in at once. And last but not least, if you've been following along, you know how important it is to set up command so that it's ready to accept your database. And that means going into settings and connecting some programs, some great programs and apps that connect to command, setting up your marketing profile, and finishing out your opportunities. So if you haven't watched those videos on setting up opportunities, your marketing profile, your Connect profile, please stop and go back to those. And oh, by the way, this YouTube channel, Hutch Marone, your command coach, has a lot of great videos like that. You might as well just go ahead and subscribe and start watching them. We don't take up too much of your time, make it really easy for you to do. And let's dive into today's content. So again, thanks for joining me, Hutch Marone, your command coach. We are going over contacts and getting them in, right? Getting your database into command today. And we're going to start with manually entering a contact, right? The first thing we're going to do is manually enter a contact. So hold on. Over here on the left, contacts, that's where we are. Then we come over here to the upper right where it says add a contact. So we add contacts. Anything with an asterisk is required, which basically is just their name. However, to make sure that you know, if you have more than one Tim Thompson, that command doesn't get confused, right? It's best to have a mail address, right? An email address. So minimally, for your benefit as a foundation, you should be looking to bring in the person's first and last name, right? All the same line. Their primary email address. This is command's primary identifying field, which in layman terms just means this is how command knows this contact is different from any other. So if you use the same email address, you're going to have some issues, right? If you've already got this in your database and in command, you're going to have some issues. Their phone number. And down here under add more information, we're going to go to additional contact information, and we're going to put in their street address. Okay? And you can see command autofills that for you, makes it very easy on you. Now, why are these the key pieces of information? If you watched the video on the settings and connecting settings, one of the main recommendations in that was Twilio, because it allows you to run smart plans that involve texting. It allows you to mass text. So you need a phone number to do that though, right? A lot of the smart plans are dependent on the email address, and I also mentioned it's the primary identifying field, so it makes sure that command doesn't jumble up and confuse your contacts, which could cause you some problems down the road. And then you want their home address, and there's a couple of reasons for that. The non-technology reason for that is simple. How are you ever going to send somebody a thank you note or a Christmas card or any item of value or a little note that says, I'm so sorry you lost your dog, if you don't have their home address? So it never ceases to amaze me how many contacts people have and don't know their home address. Now, in the digital universe of command, one of the cool things that command does, based on this home address that you put in, command will identify their neighborhood by checking the nextdoor.com database, assign them to a neighborhood. And then one of the smart plans we're going to talk about later is called the Neighborhood Nurture. And so Command, based on this address that you put in, assigns them to a neighborhood. If that's a neighborhoodnextdoor.com, you can put them on a great smart plan called the Neighborhood Nurture. And based on that neighborhood, they'll get information about their neighborhood. That is probably one of the highest uses of email as far as your clients and your past clients in Sphere are concerned, right? They're going to open those emails because it tells them about property values in their neighborhood. Now, what else can we fill in here, right? So what else? That's what was required. Lead source. There is a long list of lead sources. Open house, right? Pretty much anything you can imagine. The one shortcoming of lead source field right now is it's not filterable. In other words, later on when you go to filter for a lead source, you can't do that right now. I don't know if it's coming or not, to be honest with you. So when it comes to lead sources, I do recommend you create a tag called open houses or whatever your main lead sources are. If you mark this person as a lead, they'll get a little L next to their name. That's helpful because you are doing a different kind of follow-up with your leads than your sphere of influence, right? With your sphere of influence, you are looking to connect with them on a regular basis and generate referrals. When it comes to leads, you're looking to get them on the phone and get them to an appointment and work with them more urgently, generally speaking. Preferred method of contact. You do have space for additional email addresses if you want to have multiple email addresses to copy people in. You can check this box for same as mailing address, which if you have multiple addresses for somebody, checking the box, making sure you have the right one as primary ensures that when you print a mailing list later on, that the primary addresses are the ones that show up. Social media profiles. I've got some tips around that we go over in our launch class, and you can add multiple social media. I do recommend that you copy and paste that directly. So if you're getting their Facebook URL to their actual Facebook page, I do recommend you go to their Facebook page and copy that. There are smart plans for birthdays and home anniversaries, but you can't run them if you don't know their birthday or home anniversary. So this is a great tie-in to the additional contact information about their Facebook URL because a lot of people put their birthday on Facebook. And as far as home anniversaries, you just ask them. Now, I mean, obviously, if you're the one who helped them purchase that home, I think you should look that up. But here I'm going to drop a pro tip on you. Many agents tell me that they could just look up the home anniversary in the tax records. And I'm like, you could. And then you'd miss the opportunity to pick up the phone and call somebody who's part of your sphere. And I mean, of course, it's a home anniversary, so it's not like a birthday. So if somebody says June 2016, just put June 15th in here as the date. You'll get a reminder about that. They're not going to be too critical that they didn't get a happy home anniversary card exactly on the day that they bought the home. If it comes in June at some point, they're going to be pretty good with that. And oh, by the way, you're going to stand out. You know why? Because a lot of people don't mail cards anymore, handwritten cards. And then on top of that, likely the person who sold the home to them has not sent them a home anniversary card. You know, if it was 2016, it's 5 years later. What are the chances that the agent that helped them, if it wasn't you, is still sending them a card 5 years later? Pretty low, I'm betting. So good way to stand out. And then there's some custom fields that we get into later down the road. But if you have filled out all of this information, you've really got a lot of information. Description. Just want to point this out to you. When you make notes in a contact card, okay, let me show you. When you make notes in a contact card, as you make those notes, right, we'll say that I called them, test call, and they did respond, has responded. Just FYI, why is that there? When you check that box, if you have them on the initial smart plan, right, it'll tell you right? If you have them on one of the templated smart plans for new leads, it will automatically take them off. I hit save, and then you can see a call, my notes, right? But the thing is, you can see these notes are bumping down. What doesn't bump down is when you have a description of them. That description field stays over here. So I can go down to description. So what do you use the description for? Well, again, come to join us in launch, and we'll talk about some of my recommendations for what you should put in the description field. But basically, always keep these in front of you, right? So what it does by putting the notes that you put in that description field, make sure that those notes, no matter when you call them, there's no chance you forget about them, right? When you get down here, it'll have the description, and these will be the things that you always want to remember about this person. You don't want to risk not remembering them because they came up on a prior phone call. So you might make notes after the phone call about what you talked about, but any key pieces of information, come back over, edit their contact card on this side, add it to the description field so you always remember. The next way that we get contacts into Command in bulk is by importing them. So we go here to import. This download button, when I click this, it is going to download a spreadsheet. That spreadsheet is updated by Labs fairly regularly. You don't want to use an old one that you had on your computer. You are going to want to download the most current version whenever you do a bulk import. Now, if you're importing 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 names, downloading this spreadsheet, this CSV spreadsheet, cutting and pasting or copying and pasting from wherever you did your export is a good way to go. The one thing I would challenge you to do that is going to make your life easier is name, email, phone number, home address, birthday, home anniversary. Those key pieces of information we discussed earlier, I highly encourage you to do that on the spreadsheet before you do the import so you don't have to go back contact by contact card later on and enter that information. Far less frustrating. And again, in launch, we talk about some of the tags that you can use and then, how you add them to the spreadsheet. But it's basically a regular spreadsheet. When you export it from your old database, or if you export from your phone using a really cool, a couple of really cool apps that are cheap and make it easy to do that, just takes everything off your phone, puts it in a spreadsheet. When you do that, you might have some garbage in there. You have incomplete information. Make your life easier. Fill out that information before doing your import. And then once you have that spreadsheet, you go here to browse wherever you saved it on your laptop, or if you pull it up, from your files, you can go ahead and drag and drop it right here, and then it'll ask you if you want to import that, and you say yes. One of the most common reasons a name gets rejected is because it has some incomplete information or duplicate information. Okay, and again, when you do these imports, there is a tag that I recommend everybody put on there, and it's one of those things, again, that we talk about in the launch workshop, so I look forward to seeing you there. Also, for more videos, please subscribe to us on YouTube, and then you'll be the first to know about the new videos and the functionality as they come out. So it's Hutch Marone, your command coach. Go ahead and subscribe to us. And then follow along. We also have a Facebook page too, Hutch Marone, your command coach, and that's on Facebook. And that's where you likely have come across this video for the first time. I hope that helped you out, and I look forward to seeing you at the next video, next workshop. All right, take care.